Man, it's your boy Big Dru, Goodfellas Podcast, episode 8. And I have a special guest for you today, Lance from First Smoke of the Day, the biggest weed podcast in the world. What's up, my brother? How are you?
Dude, I'm doing good. We're going to get age restricted and we're getting demonetized today. I hope for everyone listening.
And shadow banned.
I forgot that one.
It's all coming, man. It's all coming. So, anyways, First Smoke of the Day, pleasure to have you on here, bro. The biggest weed podcast in the world. You know, all the connoisseurs worldwide are watching you right now. Well, always, not right now, but you know what I mean? But with that being said, bro, like, how does it feel to have the biggest weed podcast in the world?
Dude, it's fire. I'm excited. I mean, most people will be like, no, it's not, or yes, it is, but I'm excited about it. It's what I've loved my entire life. It's what everything I've ever put my energy into has been weed or cannabis related, whether it's cultivating for 20 plus years, hash making, build outs, branding, marketing, clothing, design, collaboration, businesses. It's all been weed related. So yeah, man, I'm happy to be here finally.
No, hell yeah, man. You put the work in, you deserve it, bro. You're the biggest.
That's how we
right
know
now.
each other.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So let's start with the beginnings of Black Leaf and Lance and your start in the cannabis industry. I know you're from Florida.
Yeah.
So, how did it all start? What year and just how did it, let's hear the story, bro.
Yeah, first time.
You're always interviewing people, so now it's your turn to get interviewed. We want to hear Lance's story, bro.
Yeah, I rarely get interviewed for people listening. If you haven't watched First Smoke of the Day and stuff, I'm usually the one doing the interview. Yeah, I mean, I started smoking in 2002. The same year I started smoking weed, I started growing weed.
Okay.
So that's
so you started in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So you were already older when
first year in college. I graduated high school, got to college, and I'm in a vehicle with my older fraternity brother and two girls on either side of me. I've told the story once before, and a blunt gets passed around. And I'd seen weed before. I'd been around people smoking and shit. I just never, it was no one ever was like, yo, you need to hit this, and I was like, no, I'm good. So yeah, a blunt gets passed around and the girl on the right of me, just like this, hits it and then goes to pass it to me, right? And I go, like, just like this. And I pass it to the girl next to me.
Oh, man.
And I feel like my big brother in the fraternity could like sense it and like turned around in the Explorer and was like, hit that. And we're on the way to a concert.
So finally someone pressured you. You got
I was like,
it.
oh, he's like, no, hit that. It's like, it was a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
and so I grabbed it and I was like, dude. And I literally said to him, man, I really think I'm going to end up liking this. I don't know if I should do it. And he was like, it's crazy because he brought it up to me years after when he's like, when I'm popping off grows and like, bro, you even warned me that this like it might be a thing for, but yeah. And so I hit it and we go to this Good Charlotte Newfound Glory concert. You can only imagine, bro, in Orlando, Florida, and
seashell necklaces intact and everything.
Game time, dude.
Yeah, game time.
Blondes, we're going for it. And but it was fun. And so what I realized was just like, wow, this interacts so like with my system and how I feed off of like energy and how uppity I am.
So it literally changed your life that first time smoking.
I just knew. And it just so happened that a dude living 3 doors down from me in my fraternity was like one of the best cultivators in all of Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
So did he teach you how to grow?
Yeah. And then so that started it off. And I had this guy who actually rushed the fraternity who was older than me, but younger than me in the fraternity. So weird juxtaposition, right? You're like 5 years older than me. But you're younger than me, you're rushing, and I kind of have seniority over you in the fraternity. But his weed didn't look like anybody's weed. Like everybody else was really good at the time. It just next level, bro. You're like, looks like it should be in a museum.
No way.
And everyone else's looks like Cali Pack. That's been vacuum sealed
or BC Pack from Canada.
And just not smelling the same, not tasting the same, not the same high. And so I got really friendly with him. I mean, just like you do the plug, right? And especially if it's something you love, you start to dive in. So I would go buy an ounce of his, it was Christmas, bro. And I was broke as and I'm in college and I decided I'm done, dude. I'm going to start selling weed. Like that was it. I'm done.
Were you already smoking every day by then?
I was smoking once a day. Only at night. I was working at a club, right? I got a job at a nightclub and I was checking IDs and I was at the front door doing the clicker and like basic and was just always broke. Just like constantly broke. And so we used
Typical college kid.
Bro, we used to pitch in. I would pitch in 12 tonight, you 13. Tomorrow I'm 13, you're 12, and we buy 1/2 every night.
No way.
So $12 and tomorrow I'm 13 and I'd smoke with my boy.
$25 for a 1/2.
Done.
1.7.
1.7. Hopefully it's a 1.8.
How'd you guys smoke it back then? Bong, blunts, joints?
We'd crack
Swishers,
open
right?
a peach swisher and put that baby down the middle, and that would how at like 3:34 in the morning, bro, we would end our night every night that way, working at the club, right? And it just got to the point where I didn't see any way out. I was like, bro, I'm so broke. I'm not gonna ask for money from my folks. And like that never ends. Like how much could you know? And so it was just like I gotta start. Like I also knew the weed dealer in the crib in the house. Like and he was just not. I was like, I got this.
So how did you and him avoid conflict with you
We
being
did
the
it.
competition? Oh, you did
Oh,
it?
it was full conflict.
No way.
Yeah, it was full like we'll
And
do
you guys were living in a
something
big
about
frat
it.
house?
Yeah.
No way.
We had a 68 person frat house that
Holy
filled
shit.
up to like 80, right? If it was full. So
Yeah.
68 guys living in a house, bro. Like it looked like the White House. And so
Where was this? Florida?
yeah,
Okay.
Orlando, UCF, University of Central Florida, the Knights in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go Knights.
So just kicked off, man, and just we'll call him Blue. Blue lived like 4 or 5 doors down from me, and his weed didn't look like anyone's weed, and he was also bad with money. And so it was this combination of like he always had fire weed, but he never had bread.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did have bread, it was there, and when he didn't, next day, right? It was just. And so I started to meet the people around him, and whenever this one guy would come to the fraternity house, everyone would make me leave the room, or it would be like and at this time I'm moving everyone's work, everybody's like.
So you're ready, the big dog.
Yeah, I just knew like, yo, I'll take all this.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a little bit of time. And they were like, fuck yeah, I only got to deal with one person at this time.
Instead of
and
all these
it's my
random
fraternity brother, and it's like a dude I trust.
Yeah.
Bro.
Game over.
And so then it was like, well, I have a partner on the grow. What about his half? You want to buy that? It's like, yeah. And who else?
So they offered you partnership.
Well, and so when this dude would come around, and it was a white kid, like Buzz Surfer cut, he would come to the fraternity house, and I'd have to like leave the room, or they'd be all cagey. So I knew like, yo, this is the dude.
Yeah.
And so I'm also older in the fraternity, and I'm also like, young. And so, you got a little in you. So I just made sure every time he was leaving, I'd put myself in his way of like, yo, what's up, bro? I'm Lance. Yo, what's up, bro? I would make sure to run into him before he left. And he was also more like me than the other guys were, right? We were more alike. Mm-hmm. So him and I kicked off a friendship. I'm also moving all their work and stuff. But at this time, they reach out to me and they say, hey, our third partner on our grow is leaving the state. He's moving to North Carolina. There's a position if you want to buy in. It's X amount. We're going to blindfold you and take you to this grow if you're interested, but you got to put all the money up front. And I was just like, yeah, bro. It was literally everything I had built up into that point. I think I remember it being like 6,000 to 8,000. Okay. It was 8,000 to be 1/3 partner in a fucking 8-lighter. Basically like good luck ever getting your money back. You're just going to learn for a year or two, and hopefully you don't get in trouble.
Learning experience.
That's all you're buying. You're buying the knowledge, bro.
Yeah.
You know that, like,
literally.
And most people are like, oh, but you don't look at it like that. At the time, you're like, I'm buying an investment. So it just so happens our boy, who we call Hippie Mike, moves to North Carolina, and I move into this grow, just to realize, like,
did they really blindfold you and take you there?
Oh yeah,
no
blindfold,
way.
But also get in the back.
No way.
So you're not even like blindfolded sitting you're like in the back of the fucking SUV, like curled up with a blindfold on. And like, I've done that for up to like 1.5-hour drives.
Oh, wow. Oh, like going up north and shit, right?
Or no, like, we ended up getting a second grow house, in Central Florida, let's say, allegedly. And, and it was like a 2-hour drive away. And so the first couple times I was brought to that place, I also was blindfolded. So you're on an hour drive.
No way.
Out in the middle of fucking nowhere Orlando, on the outskirts. And because they're also making sure that like, hey, let's take this dude out here a few times, see how he acts, and then if we decide to trust him, then we can not blindfold him and take him out here. But that was just the way, bro. You're talking 2002 to 2005.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like when it was really illegal. Like even a gram was possession, probation for 3 years.
Blunts.
Everything.
I mean, I knew people who were getting pulled over with blunt guts, separated from the blunt, and catching paraphernalia charges.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. Yep.
So it was like, dude, the smell of it alone was enough to be like, yo, this is a problem. So yeah, no, it was, and these were also the guys that were teaching me there's 2 trashes to every house.
What's that mean?
The good trash and the bad trash.
Oh, like the weed trash?
You got the trash that has anything that could, and then the good trash that actually gets put outside, they would curate their own trash. I swear to God, to where the grow houses, they would buy shit, drink the bottle, wipe it off, put it in the trash nice, and literally curate the trash so that if it ever did get pulled, it looked completely normal.
Going the extra mile with the precautions.
Bro, they taught me all these lessons. You know, do a lap before you pull in. Are you being followed? Are you being followed home? You know, just having cell phone. How to utilize the system and how to work this. And like, this is what every OG teaches the young guys underneath them if he's a proper OG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And so that was the learning experience. And like going back, all my opportunity was just based off of me showing up and being like, I'm ready. What do you need from me?
Wow. Just learning and then taking it to the moon.
And just, you know, bro, if someone's showing up and they're like, hey, bro, hey, Dru, I'm here, bro. What do you need from me? And they're just always of use.
Yeah.
Oh, like, man, this dude, anything
bro, grab that. Yo,
ready
to go.
Yeah. Hey, man, can you do? Yeah, I got that. Hey, man, can you? Yep, got that. Hey, can you sell these units? Yeah. Deals come your way when you're that person.
Mm-hmm.
You end up, hey, man, I'm having trouble. Yeah, move it. Oh, dude, I just came up off that. Like, things happen. Life has a way of opening doors when you let yourself be of use to people who are actually, like, on a mission or on their journey. And you see it, you feel it. You're like, wow, this person's doing something. They're going somewhere. Let me be of use to this person on their way up to wherever they're going. I can see it. I can feel it.
Hey, for you fans at home, rewind that right there, that last 20 seconds, and repeat that a couple times, because that was some, the way you worded that was real good, bro.
It changes everything, bro. It changes how people treat you. It changes how you treat yourself. It changes also, like, your interaction with what you're learning, right? Like, your knowledge is based on your work. So, like, with growing and with hustling, the more work you put in, the more knowledge you gain.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
No, of course.
So why cheat the hustle and pretend there's any other way, bro? Put in the work and get around guys like you you can sponge up the knowledge, bro. Hopefully turn 10 years into 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, how proficient you are at something.
Getting around the right people, showing your enthusiasm, your motivation to work. Yep, no, it makes a lot of sense.
But at that time in the early 2000s, there was something I couldn't separate, and it was how crazy life and how sketchy life is, and this thing I love called growing cannabis. And I couldn't separate them. And I also, the guys around me were also liabilities, and you start to just look at everything around you as a liability that could get you in trouble. And you start to realize, like, it took years and years of PTSD and, like, trying to figure out, why do guns and robbers and cops and all the bad shit come with this one thing I love that I want to dedicate my life to? And it's like, how do I get that away from the thing I love? Is it getting out of Florida? Is it getting away from these guys? What is it, gunning up and being that same type of person? Like, what is it?
What was your answer to it?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah. At first you go, okay, well, I have to be as hard as my counterpart. And so you go, okay, shooting lessons. Go to the local shooting guy, have him teach you how to really shoot, not no sideways gun shit, on some, like, put them down
militant shit.
And then you go, okay, what am I really, if I'm not this type of person I'm trying to be and I don't want to be this person, where do you go from there? And it's like, you go to, I'm not this person, so then I need to get away from these people. So then you separate yourself from the people who are liabilities, and then they resent you. Because we were friends, bro. We did work, and you're like,
you switched up on me, bro.
On Friday nights, you go to the bar and get in a fight, bro, and you're in trouble. You're getting DUIs. You're getting pulled over. It's just not, your girlfriend's a liability. Your girl's a talker. You know,
a lot of factors,
bro. That first guy who brought me into growing, he got kicked out of our crib and our grow, full circle, for going there with his girl, filming basically like a porno inside the grow, and then coming home and leaving the camera on the table. And his other partner and, like, our third partner was like, "How much you want to bet he took her to the grow?" And he's like, "What do you think's in that camera?"
No way.
And I'm looking at him like, "Nah, no one would do that, bro. That's crazy." And he's like, and so and sure enough, it's like
full on porno in the grow.
It's her posing it, you know, topless and plants and shit. But you just realize that, like, man, on your journey where you're going, there's people who are going to like, it's almost like a firework going up in the sky, and they're going to join you for certain parts of your journey, and you're going to join them for certain parts of their journey, and you guys get to learn off each other. But it's not a negative when you then separate and they go one way and then you go your way with the journey. Like, I've had so many people who I've been able to sponge and learn from, and then maybe they get resentful that you're not around anymore. And it's like, nah, dude, the 3 years or 5 years we had together was dope, and I got to learn from you, you got to learn from me. But like, our journey wasn't meant to go.
You still take that knowledge with you.
Yeah, and like, we weren't supposed to go lifetime as friends, like business partners and friends. We were supposed to have this dope ass period of time together, and then that was it.
And after that, we could call each other, catch up, and that's it.
Man, crazy. That's crazy that you turned into this, and I'm doing that, but liability, bro. And so I graduate college, and I go, Colorado legalized. I guess I got to get the fuck out of here.
Florida is what, 05, 06?
Yeah. So this would have been now 08, 09.
Okay.
So Colorado's starting to talk about, we're going to legalize, we're going to do the first legal sales, we're going to do all this. I'm like, I got to go.
Quick question, wasn't Washington already legal then?
Places had rolled out like forms of legalization, but no one had done like a legal sale of cannabis. So like, even California had like Prop 215 or whatever, but like that still wasn't fully like legal, right? That was like under the guise of, so Colorado was just at the time, at like 2008, 9, 10, 11, it felt like Colorado was just the mecca of like anybody who had anything to do with weed, you go to Colorado.
It was Colorado, okay.
It just felt like that.
Okay.
I'm sure there were other small places, but man, when I got there, it was like everyone I met was from everywhere but Colorado.
So what'd you do when you got out there? That's going to be good the way he laughed.
So I packed up the grow op, packed up all the plants, packed up all the equipment, packed up every dollar. First you fly out there and you secure a pad, because if you're a grower, you have to secure the pad before you secure moving out. There's no like, your plant's got to be out there before you do. So you get out there, you secure a pad that you actually has a basement. You find somewhere you're like, oh, this is going to work. Secure the spot for 2-3 months. Make sure the landlord's not going to be tripping on you month one. So you get that second month, boom, everything gets brought out. And I brought Florida's best strains out to Colorado. And
what were the strains at the time?
Presidential Kush.
Okay. Silver Haze?
No, it was Presidential Kush. I brought out, man, what was it? Because I immediately adopted a few Colorado strains, but I think, to be honest, bro, like, I might have brought out 2 or 3 strains, but the one that I immediately just ran with and put in production was a strain that we were known for in Florida called Presidential Kush.
Okay.
Just a Afghani mothball Clorox bleach.
That old school Kush smell.
Afghani Kush. Not like OG. The only form, like, and that's what I knew as Kush before, was like this mothball Clorox bleach.
That musty smell.
Musty. And not like the pure green OGs. Very different. Almost the opposite.
Yeah, they were like tan, brownish.
Yeah.
I remember.
As soon as it would turn, it would, exactly, bro. And would go full panic attack for most smokers.
So did Presidential Kush get you a leg up in Colorado as a grower?
Immediately, people start to go like, damn, this is something special, this is this. But what it was is like, when you're a good grower, you can grow anything fire.
Bro, I've seen growers grow bullshit strains that are so fire, and you're 110% right about that.
Bro, bag
150 million% right on that, bro. Yeah, just bag seeds, any kind of seeds, bro, they can grow it good. If you're a grower and you know what you're doing, you can take bullshit and turn it into gold for sure.
It's the
100%.
Think about race car drivers and race cars. It's like, that thing ain't going anywhere until someone gets in there and presses the gas. And having a random person in there versus that guy, the race car, totally different. So when you put the right driver in the right car, game time.
Yep. Same thing with clothing. You know, like the ateliers. You know, there's people that do the custom shit. There's a reason they do it for a reason. You know, same thing with the grows, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So you were growing the best Presidential Kush in Colorado,
and just taking like Florida practices of like having a carbon filter, not having anyone to the crib, dotting the T's. You know,
this
like,
time you were already on your own.
Yeah, I had already broke off. To be honest, my mentor got raided in Florida. A lot of shit was happening at the time. Mentor gets raided. He gets arrested. We lose a bunch of strains. I had a house that I had to break down. I mean, it just got so tumultuous towards the end that it was like almost Colorado felt like an oasis that like,
you welcomed the change.
We gotta get out. Well, it almost felt like, yo, this wick is burning to the end. I've run my time out here, and like shit's getting even like amped up. It really felt like towards the closer I got towards leaving, just more shit kept happening.
The walls were closing in.
It did feel a little bit like that. So when I got to Colorado, it felt like this is a breath of fresh air. I don't know anybody. No one knows me.
Everybody's a pothead.
I'm not on any list that I keep hearing about. That's like, you know what I'm saying? You're on some list, bro, and you're like, what list?
They're watching you, bro.
Yeah,
I got pulled over and they asked me about you.
You're like, looking back at that, people saying that, I want to be like, dude, who are you talking to?
Man,
But
right?
like, it is wild, bro. But yeah, Colorado turned into a really good learning lesson about what legal cannabis is going to become.
So were you legal when you went there, or were you just black market trapping?
Black market fully, and went out there under the purpose of like, I'm going to finally get legal.
I'm going to learn the legal business and get
I'm going to enter. I'm going to get a license to cultivate here in Colorado. That's the goal. And they start throwing moratoriums out. They start throwing crazy fees out. $30,000 a license, non-refundable. We're only taking 100 out of it.
$15K application fee, non-refundable. I remember when
1,000 licenses got 1,000 applications, and we're only accepting 50. You're like, wait, what?
What?
and so then it's like all these moratoriums start going up. So we even get to the point where, Colorado at one point said, we're not taking any out-of-state funds. It's like, so your money can't even be from out of state? How do you... And so we're having to learn all this, and just how quickly everyone got fucked over too, though. Like all the guys who were the talent guys who didn't have the money partnered up with guys who got money and then got fucked over immediately.
Somehow, some way, right?
Oh, they're changing the locks. All the strains get brought into the grow. You're out. On paper, you're out. Like, and then a lot of guys, like my mentor, got talked into not putting his name on an application because you're a risk, because you've been arrested for cannabis before. Because there were all these threats that, well, you won't get your license if anyone here has been arrested before for cannabis. And it's like, what kind of bullshit is that? That like all of us
did that on purpose to not put his name on the app, and then took the business from
him.
him.
And then literally out from underneath him took the business. And it's crazy because one of the guys that was involved in that, it actually went on to having some success. And I watched his career. And it's interesting to see guys who you watch fuck over other people and then watch their career and be like, is it real? Does karma really happen? Or is it made up? Or is it people having to live with themselves is the karma? Like, what is the karma? Because you watch some people sometimes.
Some people screw some people over really bad, and they just keep going, and there's no issues.
Well, they have success, and you're like, dude, that guy might have the life I wanted. Wow, look at that.
True.
And that's the hard lesson, though, that like, okay, that is what it is. And is this what the industry is going to become when the real money comes in? And that was a really good glimpse into, okay, when big money comes in, when people start to immediately partner up, when shit starts to really flow, this gets really bad quick. It can, let's say.
Especially with big corporate interests involved, yep.
Guys who have never done anything cannabis related or sold a few packs, but let's just, in real, like, have never done anything. And they're getting involved with guys who have genetics from 15, 20 years, have had grows, and everyone's coming into it with best interests of like, hey, I got you, I got your back. And you just realize quickly there's a lot of snakes in this business, just like anything.
Sure. For sure. So what year were you in Colorado until?
I was in Colorado from 2009, 10, and 11.
And then you came here to California?
No, I actually had hit like rock bottom in Colorado, bro.
What happened?
Just spent all my money trying to get legal. Wasn't able to
Jumping
get legal.
through their hoops, and then
basically went all the way back to just being like, and this is where the conversation I have with myself is like, I moved halfway across the country and I'm out here doing the same thing I was doing in Florida. And what the only leg up or the only benefit I have is that I'm not going to go to jail as long. You know what I'm saying, though?
No,
like, that was never really my biggest concern. So you start to go, if that's not number one on your list, then like, I'm ready to go back. And so I just realized quickly, I need to go back to Florida. I want to be around my family, number one. And number two, I need to regroup. Okay. I need, like, it's not going to work out here.
Put a game plan together and go back home and figure it out.
Well, and you'll get a kick out of this. So in 2009, 10, 11, so about 2011 going into 2012, I moved back to Florida, and that's when I meet Cody.
No way.
Yeah.
And that's when Cody, for anybody that doesn't know,
Pack off.
First Smoke of the Day used to be Cody and Lance, and then Cody left, so it's just Lance. So that's who Cody is. Pat Gods, shout out Cody, shout out Pat Gods.
Shout
you
out
guys
Pat
might have
Gods.
seen his what was it, wet paint?
Yeah,
the wet paint
went
in the
viral.
stores. Yeah, that went viral. That went super
Yeah.
viral. Yeah, that was the wet paint that was in the stores.
But he is who he says he is. I mean, Pat Gods is Pat Gods. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we all, and that's how I met him.
So how did you and him meet, and then how did you guys turn it into what you turned it into? 10 years later.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm driving back from Colorado, and just like the old homies I had coming up in Florida, they're still there, bro. And they're like, dude, they were come back to Florida, bro. We need you back here popping. And so when I'm driving back straight to a grow house. So I literally, the first house I pull into from Colorado is my boy who's an attorney.
Okay.
In the driveway going, hey, and it's a 2-story house in Waterford Lakes. Shout out Orlando. Allegedly.
Orlando.
And yeah, it's a grow op. And so he was like, this is all yours, bro.
No
Time
way.
to go ham.
Just run it.
Well, like we're partners, right? Let's do this. You like, I found you the house. My boy owns the house. We're good to go. Go for it. And so I pull in with a trailer, and it's crazy. I can't really even get into how crazy it was at that time.
Okay.
I mean, because even on the road back, I ended up spending 7-8 days. My axle broke. I'm living in a hotel with clones.
No way.
They set up a raid, or like pulling people off the highway in Kansas coming out of Colorado to pull them off for cannabis and drugs. And I'm staying at the hotel where they're setting up for the pulling people off. Oh, bro, it's the craziest story.
It was like a movie.
If you want to go into a wild story, I mean that I told on the first Smoke of the Day Blackleaf pod but it was madness, bro. So I finally get back to Florida, and I got my attorney homie who's like was my plug coming up. And now he's like took the bar and everything, and he's there, and we're like grow time. So I get back to Florida, and how I met Pat Gods, we get back to work. I'm cultivating. I'm back in the gym every day with them. We're playing racquetball. We're doing our thing.
Life is good.
And we have this beautiful fucking 6-lighter where I built these trays where you could basically, the trays were in the middle of the room, and the lights were hung in the middle, and you could walk around every side of the room, and then the trays were on disconnects to where you could roll them out and wheel them into different corners. And it just was like this free-flowing sick op in the middle of a garage that just turned out like, the build out turned out sick. We dropped a 5-ton. It was just like if you took a GTR and sported it up, and sometimes shit just comes out prime. We're just like, look at this fucking grow. And so we were producing some absolute bangers out of there. And at the time, Pat Gods, not knowing, was having issues in some cultivations he was partnered in.
Okay.
And so him and my friend, through moving cannabis, they're friends. And so, yeah, I mean, they start to talk about like, hey, bro, I need help. I'm having issues over here. Like, and he's like, I have, like, my best friend is someone who's literally, that's all he's done his whole life, which is me. And so we used to eat breakfast every morning together, me and my buddy who's the attorney, right? We'll call him 3-piece suit. And so 3-piece suit, we would meet at First Watch Monday through Friday and work out together, eat breakfast, and then go to the grow. That was like our daily routine, bro. And so he would always just help with extra. She's an extra hand, and I'm teaching him, and we're talking. We put music on, smoke. But he's like, hey, bro, I have someone at breakfast this morning I want you to meet. He's one of us. That's what we always just say. He's one of us.
Like the mafia.
It literally is like that, though, right? When you meet,
it's a friend of mine. It's a friend of mine.
I say he's one of us, which also means like your character is above and beyond just cannabis. Like your character is like, we can talk openly, we can exchange money, we confront each other. If I say that to somebody, like, he's really one of us. I mean, like, also you're the elite level of trust. You're like, not just in the game, you're like, nah, this is someone that you can really open and work
build with.
Yeah. And that's, so we sit down and he starts to ask me questions about grows.
Cody?
And, yeah.
Okay.
And I, hey, what's up? This is my friend. And he's sitting across from me, and he says, he wants to ask you a few questions about cannabis, like be open with him. My buddy's telling me this, be open with him if you don't mind, and just like help him a little bit. I said, okay, what's up? And so he starts to ask me questions about cultivation, and he says, if you flip it, within a couple minutes he knew, like, I gotta figure out something with this guy. And so he asked me, do you do consulting? I said, yeah. And so I think at the time I was saying $5,000 a day.
To consult for his grow?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think it was 2 days we did 10,000, if I remember right. But it was 5,000 a day.
So you were in his grow telling him this is what you need to do, this. Okay, cool.
And doing some of it.
Oh yeah.
But also explaining and showing and then going over nutrient regimens.
Literally consulting,
and showing, so he, at the time, if I remember 100% correctly, allegedly, he had 12 lights up and they were growing all sour diesel. And they were doing potted plants. And the guy he was getting his mentorship under was telling him to open the door every night to flush out the air. He was giving him old 80s tactics and hillbilly shit, yo brother, this is what you do. So when I go over his nutrient list, 2 or 3 of the things were the same thing. It's you have 2 different forms of calcium here. Is that on purpose? And so he went from, I think, 9.5 pounds off 12 lights first crop to when I came in, they did 18.5 of AAA.
Oh wow.
Second run, same plant, same everything,
so
same
he was happy
grow.
with your consulting.
So he was yo, at the time he had also a kid who was kind of on drugs, we suspected, living at the crib. He just was so negligent and was not the right one. So he was bro, I'm dealing with this type of shit. At the time too, the guy, 3-piece suit, who introduced us was actually going through some legal troubles. Had allegedly got raided on something coming from Colorado and all this craziness. So I'm also nervous about the cultivation I have shared with him a little bit, because he doesn't want to not go there anymore. He Dru, you know what's interesting, bro? Something that we all agree to in our minds is that if we get in trouble, we got to stay away from anybody, and people will stay away from us, and we won't talk, and we'll abide by these laws that we've all thought in our mind are the laws of the system, the streets, whatever you want to call it. And then when that happens, you really get to see people freak out, and they act in ways you're damn, dude, I've known this dude this long. And so with my buddy, his freak out was, I had all these friends. I built this network of friends who were also people around me who do the same thing. And when I get in trouble or something really happens and I'm getting looked at, they all just take 5 steps back. And so these breakfasts in the morning and the hangouts on the weekend and the clubs and the that shit all stops overnight.
Yeah.
And people don't know how to handle that.
He was feeling some type of way.
And so they go, I'm the victim here. And so what happens is people will literally lash out and be yo, bro, why are you acting this way? And you're dude, I'm out here with a fucking grow op still working the way we've always worked, and you're over here, they're literally watching you, bro. What are you talking?
Especially during those times.
People have a hard time. You really get to see wow, man, that friendship. Yeah, I agree, bro. I miss our friendship, but yeah, big dog, we can't be around each other. And so when that was happening, and C's got this drugged out kid who's just ridiculous, but we'll call him Bob. And so we got Bob over there. He's bro, why don't we partner up, bro?
Bob said that?
No.
Cody said that. Okay.
And so Pack Odds is why don't we partner up, bro? I'll never... At the time, too, I had gone through a lot of shitty partnerships where people would really... I always told them I felt like a horse, and as soon as I partner with someone, they get on and they just ride you to the finish line. And it's I never want to mentally feel that way in a partnership, that your partner is just riding you to the finish line.
Yeah.
It's not we're in this together and we're blocking, and it's literally yeah, man, they're partnered with you. Now get on back because I'm going to take us there. And they just, and
then they hop off when they're done.
Bro, literally. And so that was the last thing you wanted, right? And so, I mean, that was the kickoff with Pack Odds and myself. We were yeah, bro, let's do this. And we had a lot of the same dreams and aspirations of going bigger. In cannabis is what I thought. So when Pack and myself first linked up, bro, the dreams we had in cannabis, he basically was you've always had my back, I have your back, let's do this together. So he wanted to do clothing. Cool, I'm invested in clothing with you. What are we doing? $30,000 put up. We each put up $15K, and we start flying all over the country learning how to produce clothing, from cut and sew to printing and to branding and marketing. And we're taking classes with Nicky Diamonds and with Johnny
really
Cupcakes
learning the industry.
Well, just like anything, bro, when you're really serious. So we're applying to these. We're going to Agenda Trade Show. We're flying out to Vegas. We're going to all these things. And I mean, we're taking notes. We're learning about design. We're hiring graphic designers. We get an office. We start to even think about what types of music produce the best designs, because when you actually put on rap, your mind goes to that thought. When you put on country, your mind. So your designer will actually design different when different types of moods are set. So we started going, yo, there's no more lyrics in the design room. because when you have lyrics, you start to get affected by those lyrics in your design.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't care what type of music, no lyrics. And so you just really dive into this process of creativeness. So Pac Gods was really into that. So I dove into that. And for me, it's always been growing. So he had my back. So that whole time I'm popping.
So he was the first to think about branding and things like that. Okay.
And at this time, I got this no quit in me. So I'm thinking, we're starting a clothing company, this thing to the fucking moon, dude. Like, this thing's going to be the next Diamond Supply company. Shout out Nicky Diamonds, who we've had on the pod.
Shout out Nicky Diamonds.
Yeah, and he's been on the podcast and on our first smoke. And so we start to think that, bro, and we're like, and then you just realize, like, man, all these chapters of your life have been building towards this bigger dream. That's always been my dream. And it's like, yeah, now branding and marketing is essential. And I was doing that 10 years ago on a level where we were selling clothing and doing agenda trade show. And like, you know, I'm going into sneaker stores like, dude, this shirt would look sick with the, you know, like we should have this up here, and fronting sneaker stores to only fuck you over and not pay you for the clothing that you actually sold them. Like,
which happens a lot.
Which is like dispensaries.
Literally.
So I start to realize, like, bro, this is the same. This is crazy. This is like, I've done this already. This is literally like the same shit over and over. And you just realize quickly, like, the game, if you're really in the mix, the game you learn is essential for the next move and the next move and the next move. And right now, it might not make sense. And right now, you're like, this is bullshit. This person sucks. I spent 5 years. I spent all my money. I spent heartache. I spent so much pain, maybe even a jail sentence, and then only to realize that is so essential for the next move. Like, it's crazy.
It's all just preparing you for the next move.
You literally look back and you go, oh, that's why I had to go through that. Fuck. Okay. Same with Colorado, bro. I go, man, moved all the way to across the country, ran through 80 to 120 bands, just, you know, blowing through shit, trying to figure. And what a waste. And then you fly, and you go, oh, but now I won't make that mistake in California.
Now I see why life took me this way.
Yes.
Yes.
It is like that. So even with partnerships and podcasting, bro, at 25, we would have shut First Smoke down. Pac Gods would have left. I would have fucking burnt the whole shit down. Damn near got in a fight, maybe even. And that would have been it. At 42, you go, nah, man. This journey we're both on was only supposed to be for a little bit of time. No worries. This is going to keep going. And also how to diffuse situations that are tense, bro. That don't happen at 25 for most people.
No, hell
no.
They
just want to spark that fuse more.
No, the emotions, the testosterone kicks in, and that's
money, business, time. Ego. I thought you said that you were this person and you ain't, you know, and the older you starts to realize, oh, dude, 15 years ago, I've been through some shit that taught me how to handle this. Fuck. Okay. This is what I'm going to do now.
So you and Cody, so you guys, this was 2012, 2013. You guys are growing partners now. No more consulting.
In Florida. We have 2 grows. So I end up getting popped for weed.
No way. Did you go to jail?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long did you do?
No. So overnight.
Okay.
But I end up getting, so I went to jail for stems.
Stems?
So a bundle of stems.
What, just driving with them?
Yep. And I get pulled over.
Going to dispose of them, probably.
Okay, so I'm actually going to make edibles with them.
Oh, okay,
and I get them from a homie who also has some side project going. He goes, bro, don't you make edibles? And I'm over there, and this is like 11 a.m., and yeah, I make edibles. Yo, would you want this? And it's like, you know, the nug, like closest to the nugs, and it was just frosted out stems.
So you're like, yeah, this is going to work.
So, yeah, bro, seal that up. Put that in one seal for me, and I'll take that. Dumb.
Oh,
move.
Man.
I take that with me. I run my errands for the day. You're hustling, whatever. And then I go to the grow 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I'm leaving the grow, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, Podunkville. And it's probably 7:30, 8 o'clock, and the sun's set, and coming around a curve, going 35, going maybe 45 and a 35. And what's crazy, I'll go into this, but yeah, I get pulled over, and the dog hit on the back of my truck, my open bed truck. It hit on the back of the open bed truck, which, yes, they searched the truck and fucking, bam, pull out
a couple pounds of stems.
And put it on the scale, and then hit me with distribution because of how much the stems weighed.
How much was it? Do you remember?
300 grams.
Oh, okay.
300 to 600 grams, somewhere in there. And so what ends up happening is they say, they're like, we're seizing your vehicle too. So that brand new truck, fucking brand new Denali SUV. So we go through all that, and like, this is the kicker. I had some mail on me from the spot.
From the grow?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And because you're leaving. And when I went to get my truck back, the sheriff of Podunkville, we'll call it, tips open my backpack. Hey, you can pick up your truck. We're not going to seize it. I hired the same lawyer as Casey Anthony.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you, Pat Gods had told me, like, this dude beat a Fed case for my boy, and he had him in there looking like he had cancer, and he's in a cane and shit and a thing. And he's telling me these stories, and I'm like, damn, I need that guy. So I hired that guy for my little weed case at the time. But the only time I've ever been arrested for weed. And what's wild, bro, is so I'm going through this, and when I go to pick up my truck to get it out of impound at the sheriff's office, he flips over my backpack, and the 3 or 4 things that come out are mail for the spot and an article my mom cut out for me saying, like, cannabis is returning to Florida, and she highlights it because she's a teacher and writes, like, hopefully see you back here soon, honey. And it's basically like, and I'm like, how far do they know? But I'm like, I just pick my shit up, put it away, and get the fuck out of there. But that's when Pac was like, we got to go.
Because they might investigate.
And I was like, I want to move to Miami. Because, like, at the time, not at the time, like, I like Spanish girls. And also at the time, it felt like, yo, this is a great place to go. Miami, like, we had run into Rick Ross once. And I just knew, like, yo, with what I'm growing, if I just get in front of 3 or 4 real rappers, which this is also the naive me thinking that they actually pay their bills and shit too.
No, sir.
But like thinking, yo, I'll sell them $5,000 pounds of the best shit they've ever seen, and I'll just sell my crops to these 3 or 4 rappers, and they'll have the best shit they've ever smoked, and I'm looking 5, because I also had somebody close to me that was selling one of them 5 a p, 5 a. So you start to realize, like, this is my model. And Pat Gods told me, bro, you ever been to Cali, bro? And I'm like, nah. And he's like, you got it. So he convinced me just one time, come to Cali. Let me show you what's going on out there.
Was he already taking Cali trips?
I don't think he had like come out younger, but he had just known what was going on out here. I don't think he was taking Cali trips already.
He just knew people that put
yeah,
him on.
because
okay.
I had also helped put, like, I was part of that initial jump off of Pat Gods, let's say international or whatever that means. And yeah, I mean, he's like, let's go to California, bro. This is like the mecca of streetwear. It's the mecca of all cannabis. It's the mecca, bro.
Yeah.
And so I got into my head, Miami. I'm going to get a place with like 3 acres. I'm going to have a wall in this motherfucker. We're going to jump this thing, and we're going to like live the Miami life, but have like, you know, the same thing a bunch of other dummies had thought at the same time, getting arrested. And we come out here, bro, and we go to Secret Sesh, and I had seen, think about this. I'm on probation for 9 months for stems, and dudes have pounds on tables.
Just
and
selling them in the open.
I'm like,
it blew your mind, huh?
I'm like, there's a cop at the front door, and he's not in here arresting everybody.
Nope.
And he's like, bro, this is like daily, bro. This is just, and like, we could get a warehouse, and all it took was one trip, and I'm like, we're
going to Cali.
Moving to Cali.
We're moving to LA.
Moving to LA. And
where was your first place you came? Right to LA to Secret Sesh?
You're gonna die about yeah. What's funny is when you start to put shit out in the universe. So you start to say, like, we're moving to LA, we're gonna move to LA, yo, we should move to LA. And one of my fraternity brothers says, dude, my dad has a grow in LA he's trying to get rid of.
No, wow, what perfect timing, bro. What perfect timing. What? But quick question, why was he trying to get rid of the grow right when the boom was starting? What was the reason? Or we can't talk about it.
Shithead operator.
Okay.
And this is a Sicilian dude from New York with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Of just attitude. Like life. And he knows nothing about running a real grow op, to be honest. So it's like not a grower. He has his little nephew in there, like, you know, and I'm teaching him how to water plants. And it's like, bro, it's so much more than that. And so we don't know that at the time, and we don't know also that the build out they did wasn't a great build out, and like in their eyes it was, but when you really look at like what it takes to cultivate proper, it isn't. And so we just realized, dude, this is our in. And so we start to negotiate, and we learned some great lessons about, man, when you're in with a landlord, he has something over your head, man, they can really use shit like that against you.
What was he using against you?
Well, just that, like, hey,
let's
say he has a 5-year lease, and you're coming in to sublease under. He wants to get rid of it, and he's like, hey, you're going to take the spot over from me, but I have a 5-year lease. You'll just assume my lease. Well, you don't realize, A, that you're assuming his lease, so now you don't have direct contact with the landlord, or if you do, they have to be okay with it. Maybe they are, even if they are. This guy, if he wants to fuck up your life, there's no liability now. You're the one paying the rent. You're on the hook. You just signed a secondary lease, so you took over a grow. He knows where it is, and so demands start getting made. I want this, and I didn't think I got taken care of enough, so I want this. And like, if you don't do it, man,
and you can hold it over your head every time.
Well, you're like, what if we don't do it? What do you mean? And it's like, you're not even part of this anymore. It's like, yeah, but I can still end this shit.
Wow.
And you go, oh my God, are you fucking kidding? So just another good lesson. Okay, this is getting into grows and leases. And you got to know if you're subleasing from someone, you're in fucking business.
Especially out here in LA. A lot of scams, a lot of cutthroat people, bro. You already know.
People are like, why would you sublease? It's like, dude, you been to LA? Half the leases are like people assuming someone else's lease.
You know how hard it is to get a lease in your name out here?
And now you're talking warehouses and build outs and grows. It's like, yeah, you probably are taking over someone else's
and
grow.
You're talking about you guys just coming from Florida. Like, it's not that easy just to come here and get a fucking 10,000 square foot warehouse.
Put all my bread into it. Every dollar but like 1 month's rent, goes into this grow. We, move out here and get cranking, bro.
And that's how it started.
At the time we move out here, Pat Gods is in jail.
What, weed?
So he's on probation already, allegedly, for all the weirdos. And
from California or from Florida?
No, he's on probation still in Florida from a charge when he was like 18.
Oh, jeez.
Bro, he'd been on probation for like 5
His
years.
whole life.
I swear to God, yeah, bro. And so we're getting ready to move out here. We get everything underway. He goes in to take, he's trying to get, approval to move and all this shit, right? And he goes in to take a piss test and fails.
No way.
And so I'm on month 1, I think, of being out here. And he's like, basically, he was like, I'll be out there in 2 to 3 months after we get out there. And he was going to fly out. But he was like, he was coming behind us just with all the shit he had going on. And sure enough, bro, he calls me one day and he's like, yo, they're going to send it away to the lab. For sure, it's going to pop. They're going to come get me. He at the time he thought I'll be in and out. It's only this. It's probation violation. All that. Well, I guess with violent offenses or whatever, they can't let you out. So, sure enough, bro, when they take him in, they basically say you have to finish your 5-year probation in jail.
No.
Mm-hmm. And so he's calling me from jail, and I'm in California running our grow. And I'm going through the lawyers, and we're legal Prop 215, and we're getting the signatures, and we're building the brand Blackleaf, and it's like, hey, how you doing, bro? And it's like, it's whatever, bro. I'm doing all right. And it's like, how you guys doing? It's like, we're all right.
We're out here
What's
in
up,
Cali.
dude? Yeah, I hope you come out soon. And so it was a crazy time, bro, for obviously our friendship, our relationship to do right by each other constantly, because tumultuous. Even when I got busted and I got arrested, he was there for me too. He, I didn't have anyone's numbers memorized and shit, so I'm just sitting in jail damn, I hope someone knows.
Hope someone comes
this is crazy. And I'm definitely not telling my folks. So and sure enough, C said, Pac said, man, as soon as you didn't come home and I couldn't get a hold of you, he's like, bro, I can call you at any time, and he's like, as soon as I called once and I knew you weren't picking up, he's like, I started checking, arrest
the arrest records?
Yeah. And he's like, sure enough,
bro. You
were
right on there.
Yeah. And,
trafficking stems.
And so what's crazy is yeah, bro, so we're out here cranking and building this brand, and, Pac finally gets out. And then now he's obviously can't still move out here. So we're going through that. And I was on probation out here.
How long was this going for that you had the grow of you and him, but you were the one running it out here? How many months now?
6 months.
Okay, so it was a long time.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
No, it was 3 or 4 or 5 months. We had our first crop and everything before he was able to come out. Because even when he came out, it wasn't.
So he didn't do 5 years, did he?
No, he ended up doing 8 months, I think.
Damn, he still had to
6
do a long
or 8
time.
months. Yeah, it was but dude, and that wasn't his first. I mean, Pac's been through the shit, and but yeah, we got this crib in Pasadena, and we're building this brand, and finally Pac gets out here, and it just felt like for him and me, dude, we made it, bro. We're out. We're away from all that shit, bro.
We're in California, bro.
Oh wow, man, and what a relief it felt like, and that was 2014.
And then you and him just kept running it up.
Then it was now you got the grow, we got the grow, and you just start a whole nother chapter of life. Most people know of hardships, friendships, fallouts, money gained, money lost, fucking nonsense, like life, health, all that shit. So we start to build Blackleaf, and he had the name First Smoke of the Day in his head of like, we used to always have these fresh crops, bro, and I would always be bringing home fresh batches, and I'm hunting seeds and I'm hunting new strains, and I'm bringing him stuff. I'm like, try this, and we're having these really good every morning, bro. We're waking up to fresh weed, and we're having these conversations over fresh joints. And he used to ask me like, bro, why does this one burn so clean? Or like, bro, when I hold, because he always has asthma, so he used to always ask me like, bro, why does your shit burn so clean? Why don't I choke when like I'm smoking this? Because he's out there buying everyone else's shit. That he would always ask me, and he's like, bro, what is it about like that first smoke of the day, bro? It's like the bet we're having these great conversations. It's psychoactive. He's like, I just feel invincible when I'm talking to you in our first smoke of the day, and it's early, and we're in the morning, and we would basically then bounce out. I'd go to the grow, he'd do what he does, and it just was like, what is it with first smoke of the day? And he kept bringing that up, and so he had the idea for the podcast. He had a Sprinter van at the time, and on the windows it said First Smoke of the Day.
Really?
This is years before the pod.
No way, bro. So he already had that name.
He had a vision. He's always been a really good visionary, right? I'm a creative, and this is where maybe our relationship always was difficult, was that we're both creatives.
Mm-hmm. You guys are butt heads.
You need that, and you also need a creative and then a doer. You need that balance. You need someone that's literally going to put their head down and isn't the creative side, or has very little of that, and is just 20 years of like doing, right? Like hammer. And when you put two people that are predominantly creative, it's a lot of ideas. Mm-hmm. Just like anyone knows, an idea, it's amazing to have, and sometimes it's a game changer, but actually putting it into production and taking that idea and turning it into a reality is so difficult. And that part right there is worth everything, because so many of us have great ideas and let that pass up, and it'd be just that, a breath, right? And then there it goes. Taking that then and saying, I'm going to spend 20 years on that one idea that I just had. That's a whole other thing.
That's deep.
And so I just think like, yeah, man, you grab these ideas just like a breath, right? And one of them can literally change the direction of your life or your entire life. And so that's kind of like what this was for us, was that Pax always never really enjoyed the grow. And once you realize what growing weed is, it's janitorial services. No, for real. It's like, I always joke
farming.
With people,
it's literal farming.
Yes, I'm literally like a glorified janitor, like the best of us are. And then some of us are electricians in construction, but we're glorified janitors. And so when you really realize that, you realize, man, I have to take no time off. I can't travel. I make less money than selling it. And like, it's not the job I thought it was. People usually go to the selling side. It's way more. And I envy that. I mean, coming from a grower too, like no one ever asks, like, do you grow this? If you're a grower, everything the grower has, they always go, do you grow that? It's like, what? They can't have other weed on them too? It's weird though. The industry's a weird place. It's like, you grew all this? It's like, and then if you didn't, it's like, oh, dude, what is this then? And so it's just such an interesting, but yeah, Pat Godds and I built that. And so he tells me one day, we have this pool table. It says Blackleaf down the middle of it and shit. Epic shit. And we're in Pasadena. We're in a house with an elevator in it. Me and him are living together. And he's like, we need to film a podcast. We need to do this thing called the podcast. And we're going to sit there and tell our life story. This? It would have been about 2 to 2.5 years before the pod. So it would have been 6 years ago now.
So 2019.
2019.
Okay.
In 2019, we sit at this pool table. He hires this guy to come film. He puts a camera up. I tell my life story. He tells how we joined up, and then from there, and he. You guys are all stiff on the camera. Literally, I can only imagine what it looked like. And he's like, bro, this is like a confession tape. Like we can never put this out, bro. Like ever. And so he's like,
so you and him just talked about your history at that
and time. He's always on me about, you're too honest, bro. You're gonna get us, like, you say too much shit. You're loose with it, And so he was just like, bro, he's like, you're for sure going to jail if we put this out. He's always like that. So I'm like, all right. So he's like, let's do the PG version, bro. And he's telling me what to leave out and don't. Okay. So we do the next version.
So what got you guys, to do the podcast and, like, you guys did a couple episodes. You're like, we can't release this. We want to get some other guests on there. So, when did that actually start and how did that start? Did you guys go right into it or what happened?
Yeah. And so obviously, like, 2 failed pods because we can't put them out, right? And so immediately Pac's like, we can never put these out. This is basically us telling on each other, like, it needs to be about the guest or something, right? Well, at this same time, shit's crazy in life, right? We have our South Central grow op where Black Leaf was founded.
Crazy.
At that time, we're dealing with break-ins. So maybe a couple months prior, they had hit us and they had gotten me at such a perfect time where, it's like Sunday night and the weed's all dry that's hanging. And you go, should I go there at Sunday night when no one's on the road and move, 30 pounds of fresh flower to the trim? Or go Monday morning, move in with traffic and get yourself some sleep. Also, let's be a lazy fuck.
Procrastination.
And sure enough, that Sunday night, they hit us. And so they hit us for like 30 to 40 pounds of beautiful DJ Shorts Flow, Golden Goat, Presidential Kush, all dried on the stem in the dry room, plus 2 rooms fully ready to harvest, and 2 rooms that are maybe 2 weeks out. So they cleaned the whole grow out. It was probably a total of 80 to 120 pounds.
Man.
And they wrecked the grow so bad that you end up having to like go in deeper to get yourself out. Like everyone I'm sure can relate to that. It just like, it breaks you, and it's all over thieves. Like I've had this reoccurring thing in my life, thieves. It's happened in Florida, and it comes from people sometimes you trust. It comes from the guy right next to you most of the time because they have the most access and they know the most about you. So they know when to hit you and how to hit you. And I've gone through that. When I got back from Colorado, I had actually learned about a robbery that had happened by the guy who was mentoring me into how to grow. I didn't even mention that when I got back from Colorado, I'm in Florida and I'm linking up with some people, and I go to this dude's house and he's like, hey man, I used to buy Presidential Kush years ago. And I know when people say that, and I've heard this, I know that it was either from me or someone in my original circle. And he goes out, he's like, dude, this is such good weed. I haven't had this in years. And I'm like, yeah, my boy. And he goes and he's like, I want to break it in with a new piece. He goes in his room, in this back room, and pulls out my bong that got taken in a robbery 3 years prior. Before
And you
I
knew
left.
that bong.
It's a roar, like one of one roar straight from the factory in Germany that was like yellow, and like it just was one of those where you just go, there's only one of these. Yeah. I paid like hella money for it, and this is also at a time when you weren't just scooping up roars, right? And so we sit him down, and I have some friends come over to his house, and we explain the story of like, how did you get this? And like, how did you, and he starts to explain this story about this guy who was mentoring me and taught me how to grow shows up one day with all this stuff and tells him like, hey bro, can you sell some of this stuff off? And here's some weed, here's this and shit. And he's like, you know him, dude. It was your old partner, basically. Damn. And I'm like, wow.
Damn.
So what's crazy is that was like 3.5 years prior that I put him together with the dude who he partnered to rob me with. They were doing music together. Because I thought like he's a reggae artist and like a beautiful singer, unbelievable voice, could have gone like big time. And then this dude's a producer, DJ, rapper, who also is very connected with the music industry and doing like big things in that Orlando area. And so I thought by linking people up, good vibes. You want to be a good person. You're like, yo, you guys got to meet. And also at the time, my mentor for cultivation, one of them, wasn't doing so hot. And so we'll call him D. And so D was living on my couch as he's getting his micromolecular biology degree. And as that's happening, I'm letting him live on the couch, even though that room I could put to use. Because what do? We put rooms to use.
Yeah.
And so when that relationship gets tumultuous, I like that word, we'll go back to that, he decides he wants my plug. Yo, I want the plug. I said, bro, you're buying like 5 pounds a week and they're fronted. This dude's going to ask me, why don't I just deal with you? I'm buying 50, 100. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to skip the line for a unit of $100 a pee that you're getting fronted? And also, like, they're going to be suspect on you. Like, why wouldn't I deal with you? And so that was the end of our relationship. He moves out. He ends up linking up with this other dude, and they end up robbing me. I only find out 3.5 years later.
That's crazy.
So whatever, fast forward, Cody and I with the podcast, I've dealt with robberies. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this thief, in my opinion, the lowest of the low. And so, yeah, we are out in California, and we'd already been hit. And sure enough, at 4:45, my phone bing goes off, and I just know, you feel it. Yo, they're breaking it, and it's the roof. So I know, like, what's on the roof at 4:45? It's some dudes trying to rob you.
Yeah,
trying
to cut a hole in
enough,
that roof.
Bro, I run out. I bang on C's door. Pack odds. I bang on his door. Yo, we're getting robbed, bro. And I don't hear anything. I bang again, and then I'm like, fuck it, and I just dip. And we're living in, like, South Pasadena at the time, and so I can get to downtown South Central in, like, 15 minutes going 100. And so sure enough, I'm down there. And we roll up on the door, and the door is, like, ajar. So you can see, like, out of the corner of the door, like, light shining through. And so as you'd pull up to the warehouse, at first you'd be like, yo, nothing happened. What? And then you go, wait, what? How can you see in through the cracks?
Why is that light coming through the crack? Yeah.
And so, here, let me answer. Okay. Every time I tell the story, I get, like, worked up, like I'm about to run up on some dudes again and get in a fucking full-on brawl at the grow. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so I roll up and I see, like, yo, our roll-up door's ajar. So I pull to the left of the warehouse and I park. And the way we have, like, shade cloth on the outside of the actual like, gate.
So you can't see through the fence.
Can't see. Yeah. So you could be standing on the other side and you might kind of see an outline, but at night you're not being able to tell. So I pull up and I walk up, and when I go to grab the actual, like, iron gate that's outside that rolls, it just goes to fall.
Because it was taken off.
Bro. And so you're talking, like, a fucking, probably, like, 200-300 pound gate, you know, one of the big ones.
Or more.
I just manhandle this thing a little bit to the side and prop it up, and I run up to the door, and I can see how someone has literally rammed the door and then, like, pushed it back up, the roll-up door. So thinking, like, how you and I would, and thinking, like, yo, these guys, they're going to get scared and run out. I start bashing on the door. Boom, boom, boom. And I start yelling, yo, the cops are coming. Get the fuck out. Da-da-da-da. We got a gun. You know, anything and everything. And I run like a kid, right back around the side thinking, like, all right, everyone's going to come running out now, and I'm going to get them out of the warehouse. And, like, no one comes out.
You just stood there, and it's just crickets.
You're just fucking standing there. And then you start to go, like, well, what now? So I go, okay, I got to get the fuck in there. Like, because you start thinking, like, they're breaking the shit.
And you had no gun on you, nothing?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nah, I'm going in, like, raw dog. And so I go in, and we have this, like, 50-foot curtain that you could go from left side of the warehouse all the way to the right, and it would hide all the rooms and everything going on in there, so that when we rolled up the door and you're in the main part of fucking
the curtains
the street,
to cover everything.
Exactly. And you don't know what's going on in there. You're like, it's just a black. And so when I go like a football player underneath it with my arm, as I'm running in, because it's probably like 25 feet from the front door to where that curtain is.
Okay.
So I got a good jog going by the time I'm coming underneath there, because I'm also thinking whenever I come underneath, I need to beat it with force. So I come underneath that thing, and sure enough, as soon as I lift it up, I'm face to face with a dude with a bin with branches shooting out of the top of like a bin, one of our fucking bins. And he's like, and I swing.
Can you
and
do that facial expression one more time?
Oh, bro, because he's thinking like I'm taking this bin outside to stack it by the door. And sure enough, I'm coming sprinting in like,
yeah.
And we go, as I'm swinging, we go tumbling, because think about a bin with weed, and I'm swinging over it. We go tumbling, because I'm also and I'm running. We go tumbling over it. We get up. We start throwing. Next thing I know, I'm getting hit from the back of the head, the side of the head, and I got 3-4 guys around me, and we're just all fighting.
Damn.
And then, time starts to just go. A gun gets pulled, and everyone immediately backs up. Like, boom, everyone. And I'm standing there, and the dude right here has a gun, and I just remember one buddy here just yelling, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. And I start to back up, and the dude with the gun starts to say, yo, take everything out of your pockets, bro. Get on the fucking ground. And he's telling his boy, tie him up. And I'm backing up and backing up and backing up because I'm trying to get away, but I'm backing up into my warehouse, not away. And there's a wall like this, which would have floor flexes, which go on the tops of cubes. It's like gross shit, right? It's like for blocks and watering. And at the time, it's like the hot shit, the brand Floraflex. And so we would stack them on the wall when they're clean or when they're not and they need to be clean. And so as I'm moving back, and they're yelling at me, and I'm moving quick too, right? Like you're like, yo, listen, I don't got anything. And you're taking big steps back because you're trying to put distance between you and them.
Yeah.
I step into the wall and fall into the Floraflexes, just kind of like back, but not onto the ground, just kind of like,
Yeah.
And when I do that, he goes to hit me with the gun, right? He swings and catches me. And when he comes in like this, though, you're just like anyone's 2 cents would be to like go like this, like this. Well, I grabbed his arm. So we have his arm like this, and I just go to the ground. Well, as I'm turning in and trying to like grab the gun, it gets pulled. And all I feel is the gun go like between both my arms.
Damn.
And so the first thing I do is just get up, and between rooms 3 and 4, there's 4 rooms along the wall. The last 2 rooms, I sprint between 2 5-ton ACs, right? And all I'm thinking is like, I'm about to get shot in the fucking back. Like, like you're like doing that. And
waiting
you're
for
like,
the sound.
And I'm
waiting.
running like, and I'm thinking, and I make it between the ACs. I hit the back wall and I sprint to the right, which takes you all the way to the front of our warehouse where we built out little water area to like wash off trays. And I hit that and I run out the front. I'm the first one out. I run out and I run back around to where my truck is, to where like I could stand there, but I could also see anyone who's going to run out from the side, right?
Yeah.
And I think they got to be coming out now. Sure enough, one guy comes fucking sprinting out, thin dude, and goes left. Boom, right up the road the other way, the opposite way. And so I think like, yo, this motherfucker's dipping. And so right when that happens, I turn around and the same dude who I had like hit and we tumbled when we got in there with the bin is coming out with the same fucking bin. And he probably walks out to like look to the left and right. But when he does that, I just go, bop. And he drops the bin. As this is happening, the dude who had left was actually leaving to go get the fucking Astro van.
So you thought he was running away, but he was
of
really...
course.
He was
I'm thinking, dude, you just went through what I went through. I'd be fucking running. And no, he's going to get the car to pick up the homies. Because like, yo, we got to get them. And so this fucking dude's pulling up as this dude's running off. And obviously they're neighborhood dudes. Like, that's what happens. They live in that neighborhood. That's their place. They bang there. And, yo, as this dude pulls up, I don't know what else to do. This dude drops the bin. I literally grabbed the bin, threw it in the back of my truck. Dude, when the robbery's done, I still got a bin of weed in my truck, the only one that they ever was about to get. And so I start banging on the hood of this Astro van that got turned into a plumbing van.
And it's always the plumbers or the electricians or the security that get you,
It's the guy who did the electrical. It's the guy who came in to help the fucking electrician. It's always the plumber. It's the guy who did the little help with and it might not even be the main guy because he actually has a reputation. It's the guy that's helping him or his little apprentice, or it's that fucking guy.
The main guy might not even know that they're doing this behind the main guy's back.
No. Yeah. That's why they took the job. They're hitting licks at night and then doing 65 to 85 an hour work for plumbing and shit during the day. And so think about that. You're getting taxed for your grow, and then at night they're robbing your ass.
Wow.
Bro.
Make it make sense.
It's like that in Florida.
Damn. They're doing that in Florida right now?
I mean, that's how it was.
Back then?
I paid an electrician before, and then only to have him come back and rob the spot later. And based on the fact that it's like, damn, you just paid this dude $30,000 to do all this electrical, and then that night he comes back and fucking robs you. Like, can you imagine?
Scumbags.
But this is like what our industry attracts, and this is also what we always try to get to California, get to Colorado, chase legalization, because we think that that's going to filter these types of people out. And only to learn that the people we bring in place of them are the guys that are like bankers and real estate moguls and all the other fucking scumbags who just come in to replace the scumbag who just left. So it's like It doesn't work.
But in a way, it's the same thing with alcohol and pills. Pharmacies still get robbed.
Yeah.
So even though they're the legalist of the legal, and it's a federal offense to steal analogs, you know what I mean? And they're still getting robbed too. So it's just any kind of those industries. Look, Total Wines are still getting robbed. CVS is for their liquor. So it's CVS now. They're taking Axe body spray and deodorant. So
it's locked up.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is, like, let me go back to that story. So as I'm banging on this dude's hood, right, and they pull off, the dude spins me. So I'm banging, right? And he pulls to the left around me. So he goes like this and spins me. I turn around and I look front. The dude's coming out with the gun, who had the gun inside the grow. And as he's coming out, all I can do, bro, out of nowhere, I just grab into my pocket and I pull out my phone and I go, he's got a black hoodie, black shorts. We're on Washington and South. We're on 3rd. And as soon as I start doing that, he goes, I literally watched his face go, oh, shit. And he fucking takes off down the block.
Running?
Yeah, just took off running. I just watched him. And then I was thinking, oh, fuck, the cops are coming.
So the getaway van already drove off.
Yep.
And then this guy ran off.
That way. Then the dude with the gun took off that way down. And I'm on a main drag, bro. This is what's crazy. I'm on a main drag. So this is at 5 a.m. now, because this thing started at, let's say, 4:30, 4:45. It's like 5:15, 5. There's people driving to work and shit in South Central. And we have blood on and we got blood on here. And, like, this dude's running with a gun down the street. And so your initial thought is, yo, for sure, cops are coming. Welcome to L.A. No one's coming.
No cops.
Nobody's coming. The bad guys might be, but the good guys ain't coming. And it's scary to think of that, but it also is, like, relieving to know that. To know, like, okay, no worries.
Because you might have caught a charge for having that grow or some kind of crazy shit. Yeah, it might have been worse for you.
Bro, I run up, I prop the gate back up, I put the door, and I start thinking, okay, maybe if they drive by, they won't know which one it was in front of. Because they all look the same. It's just warehouse after warehouse, right? So you start to just wait inside. I'm watching the cameras and shit.
Nothing.
By 9:15, 9:30, you realize, dude, no one's coming. And so Pac shows up. My little cousin, who had been my head grower at the time, shows up. And right on the spot, he quits. My little cousin's like, I didn't sign up for this, bro. I'm not. And I did sign up for this. Like, my dream, it's whatever happens along the way is part of that dream.
Part of the journey.
Like, I didn't sign, and like, again, we revisit this same thing, this thing I love that I would dedicate my life to, this plant that is everything that I want to do in life and dedicate hours and time, and I'm still infatuated with, and I'm breeding and growing, comes with this other shit that is just negative and scary and can end your life and also change your path. And a lot of people can't separate those, so they never end up chasing that dream because they can't figure out how to separate that other part. And so I'm like, holy fuck, it's like being back in Florida. And so at that time, Pac at the time also was like, and so think about this, we just did 2 pods, we're trying to figure that out. This happens now, we almost get robbed second, and I'm like, we're gonna continue. And he's like, dude, I'm done. I'm over this. We didn't come out to do this. What if I had to tell your parents, yo, Lance just got shot at our grow and down in South Central, and so I had to also realize at that time, like, yeah, you're right, bro, that I wouldn't want to have. I had to put myself in his shoes and say,
you don't want to call his parents and tell them, yeah,
wow, that would be unbelievable phone call to try to explain that, and then be like, well, what do you mean? And you're trying to tell them, like, I was sleeping and he went there, like, in his shoes, what happened. And so I just realized, like, yeah, if they're leaving, my dream doesn't end here. Like, just like we come together at different times. I was in Colorado before. I'm chasing this other dream. Maybe this is where you get off and I continue my path and you go your way. And so we break off, and like 2 years go by. Pac has the Sprinter, first smoke of the day. We're still friends. And it's so wild how, like, life works and energy. I buy a podcast setup and I buy like bits and pieces of it. And I guess at the same time, he had 2.
So this was in the back of both your minds unknowingly over this 2-year hiatus that you guys took from each other.
Yeah. Wow. And he calls me one day and, probably about packs and shit like that. And we're talking and he goes, man, I think I'm going to do a podcast finally. And I said, bro, you know what's crazy? I bought like the podcaster, the fucking audio track thing, and I got these headphones and I got the microphone and I want to do something. And he's like, well, why don't you bring this and this? And why don't we do one? I got this Airbnb next weekend. Let's just try one. So, okay. So we go to this Airbnb that he has, and he's got like his family, I think, staying there, but whatever. He has it. We're by the window. We're in Hollywood. We're overlooking. And he's like, I literally walk in, sit down, roll up, and he's like, put the headphones. And we put the headphones on and shit. And at that time, this dude, Boro Blaster, who does like custom glass rigs, and he does sandblasting on custom glass. So we had him making a bunch of dope ashtrays for Black Leaf. And I said, bro, just come by and drop them off here. We're doing this thing we're doing a podcast. And we're going to call it First Smoke. And as we're basically getting ready to start on the same podcast thing you have here, he walks in and we're like, guest number 1, Boro Blaster, First Smoke of the Day, episode 1. What's good, bro? What do you do? And we kick this thing off, and that's literally how it started.
How long was the first episode?
Hour and a half.
And you guys just put it right to YouTube from there?
Yeah, he was like, yo, because Pac's big thing too is like he does a lot of reading and learning and teaching and all this stuff and masterminds. And his whole thing is like, bro, most people never start. And like half the battle is just showing up. And he would have all these phrases and things that would fucking motivate you, and you'd be like, or he's like telling you like, bro, only 1% of podcasts make it 100 episodes. If we just set our goal to 100, we're already in the top 1%. And you're like, okay.
He's got all the Tony Robbins talking points nailed down.
Bro, he literally has gone to Tony Robbins multiple times.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But that's why you see when we were doing clothing and shit, he's signing us up for classes in LA, learning from Nikki Diamonds, learning from all these designers. I mean, Jerry Lorenzo, Fear of God. We went to a class that he taught about.
That's crazy. That's
bro, all this stuff, and we're learning about branding, marketing, design, cut and sew, clothing, how to find manufacturers, how to buy samples. All the same shit that fast forward we do in cannabis now we're having to do. And it's like, bro, I found a love for it back when we were doing clothing, and now to bring it back and do it with something I actually love, like fucking weed.
Before you were doing the clothing for C.
Bro, yeah, and
that
it's
was
like,
his dream, but you were just
cool.
Along
but
the
then
ride
I
with
kind of
him,
was
yeah.
like, damn, this design shit's pretty dope and graphic, and like you find you have a knack for it, and you start to realize too, like I see it before the graphic designer sees it. I'm telling him what to do. My vision up here is actually exactly what we ended up putting on there. And still to this day, when people ask me like, oh, with your designer for Blackleaf and shit, I say, dude, 95% is already here, and I'm telling them exactly what I want.
Just how to make it, just to bring it to
literally.
life. Bring it to
and
life.
And so,
yep.
like, it's the same with our videos for First Smoke. Most of the time, the directions I'm giving you are so direct and exact. Like, 38-second timestamp, switch this frame for this, and add the music there. That's when the beat should kick in. Like, you have a vision for something, and like, if you have that creative, man, use it, man. Use it, and
sure.
Only bring more people around you who can help see that vision through. So graphic designers, like one of the toughest positions you'll ever hire for is a graphic designer.
Oh yeah, for sure,
bro.
And all the good ones are already taken,
bro.
So did the first episode pop off right away for First Smoke of the Day?
You know,
like how long after you guys released the first episode did it start gaining traction? Because you guys popped off pretty much right after you came out. I remember you guys were already a known staple in the weed industry.
Well, what helped was like, yo, who should we record podcasts with? And it's like, oh, our friends. And it's like, well, who are our friends? And it's like Bobby Trill, Stacks from Tenco. Who else should we have? And it's like Protoko and like all Sherbensky and like these people who are like somewhat industry leaders. And like, that's our first 10 to 15 episodes are literally like
straight heat.
And so it was just us interviewing our friends. Dude, episode 2 or 3 is Wizard Trees.
Wow.
And we literally sat on a table in an empty warehouse, put it up and go, Yep, it's on. Okay, go ahead. Hey, we're here with Wizard Trees. And it was just about doing it. And like, yes, it felt like overnight success because there was really no weed podcasts like that at the time. Like you had Dope as Yola and a few other like Hashishin, but they weren't doing what we saw we wanted to do.
Yeah, no, you guys are different. You guys are definitely different.
And so like, it felt like overnight success, bro. It did a little bit because like episode 25, we decided to go, you know, hey, we're actually going to film it now because the first 15, 20 people we knew, they'll never get on camera. Like Stacks, Tenco, Bobby Trill, all these people, they'll never get on camera. So why don't we do them as the audio episodes? And then when we're ready, we'll fucking film this. And sure enough, bro, we get Cherbinsky, Ivan from Jungle Boys, like all just legendary people. Burner. I mean,
Josh from Raw Papers.
OVO 40, Stevie Williams, a skateboarder, Rick Ross the rapper, Rick Ross the hustler, bro, on and on. I mean, dude, some of the Nicky Diamonds, bro, just legendary people that I'm like, it's an absolute blessing to be able to sit down and like learn from them. I mean,
and here, like 4 years later, still going.
Yeah, 3 years in, 190 something episodes we filmed, and like something like 1,000 videos, because we do vlogs and grow tours and dispensary tours. And I mean, we just got back from Germany. Before that, we were in Spain. We're headed in like a month to Michigan to do a bunch of big grow ops that are outside. It's harvest season. We're about to hit October, baby.
The outdoors are coming. The outdoors are coming.
It's Croptober. So first smokes here on the scene. We're about to do some harvest season stuff. We're going to take people inside what it's like to harvest 1,000 pounds of outdoor.
Nice. That's epic right there. Now, let's go back to, obviously, Cody's not here with us right now.
Yeah.
Pat Gods, you know, he's the homie. Shout out to Cody, Pat Gods. But so what's the story of him? I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it or not on the pod, but what's the story about Cody leaving First Smoke of the Day, literally right in your guys' prime? Like right when you guys were like, bro, First Smoke of the Day literally became, you know, a household name in the cannabis industry now, and Cody just left, bro. So what's the story? Like, I know a lot of fans want to know that. It probably hasn't been talked about too much. So, you know, let's get the inside of that. Like, why did Cody leave, bro? Like,
I always joke with
Cody, why'd you go?
Well, that's how we met. That's how we know each other.
Cody,
it was through Cody.
Yeah, when we went to dinner. When we went to dinner, right?
Yeah.
When we went to dinner at Monty's. Shout out Monty's.
Hustlers, right? Like, he obviously gets along with the hustlers the closest, and a lot of people I'm around are growers, so it's like we can congregate, we meet each other through each other. But yeah, I mean, Pac, people have to realize, like, Pac is already successful in other ways, right? Like, he's already been very successful in other things, including real estate, in Bitcoin, and a lot of stuff that he was early on. And one of them being real estate. Like, if you talk to him about like his real estate portfolio and apartment complexes and houses and refab, he like goes to these seminars and enacts teams. Like, he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur. And with a lot of entrepreneurs, you're going to find this. It's the same thing with growers, and I'll go back to this. But with entrepreneurs, a lot of them like to start the fire, but not a lot of them want to stay around to keep the fire going. And there's serial entrepreneurs, right, where people like to just start businesses, but they don't want to continue to run those for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, exit, whatever that is. And so that's part of it, along with being highly successful already. And like, people don't realize this about First Smoke of the Day. It was created, our podcast was created from Pat God saying, bro, the weed industry's closing out. Look at prices dropping. People are happy making a fucking 50 cents or $1. What's going on? And him always perpetuating this fear, which most entrepreneurs have, whether it's on their own financials or in business. They have this fear, and so it drives them to constantly push, middle of the night push, which is also a crazy business partner to fucking have.
Yeah.
Is someone who on Sundays is calling you about problems that you can't solve till Monday. So with a creative, I'm spun up, you know, just trying to help. I'm a problem solver, so I'm problem solving all weekend or all night, and that's just a lot. And so it was him then getting into First Smoke of the Day, us having success, and him saying, man, if we were doing anything else, bro, you know, age restricted, shadow banned, demonetized, still looked at like, ooh, weed content. And it's like, you know, but it's content. We're not growing anything. And they're like, ooh, weed. Like, they just have an issue with, if it's anything related with cannabis, doesn't even mind. You could just say cannabis. Like, bro, if we were doing alcohol, if we were doing pharmaceuticals, and we were eating painkillers and other weird things and being like, oh,
be extra viral.
We might be fucking monetized, though. No lie, it might be monetized.
Sponsored by
But we're
Pfizer.
cannabis for First Smoke, so we're demonetized. So what we have to do is our followers support us, which shows like the love. And then at the same time, we have sponsors. But Pac Odds was always like, bro, if we were doing anything else, we'd be catching big checks over here and this and that. This isn't scalable. And like, he was always on this health kick, and people don't also always realize is like, he has asthma. He's always been on like a nebulizer, bro. Dude's been like, wakes up like,
No way.
And so I'm sure he's like had doctors telling him like, you gotta fucking quit smoking. For sure he has. And so it got to a point where he quit. He gone through 8, 9, 10 months of quitting smoking, being on the show, being around smokers, talking about the weed industry, wanting to get out of the weed industry. It's inevitable. If you're going to get out of the weed industry, what are you going to do? Host a podcast about the weed industry and first smoke of the day, and then you're not smoking either? So he got to a point in his life where it just didn't make sense anymore. And this is where I say, like, man, it's so interesting in life where, like, I used to look at, like, every friendship like it would be a lifelong friendship, or every business and every person I meet that I get along with, like, oh, this could be a lifelong person I get along with. And then you realize later in life that, like, everyone has, like, chapters, and your journey and this journey, you might only get together for a split second, 2 years, 5 years, maybe you build $1 million business, whatever, but then you drift off and one person goes one way and another. But that, it's not a negative, it's actually a gift that this 3, or for me, impact 15 years of friendship that turned into about 14 years of business had come to a close. And so the young me would have blown the whole thing up, meaning like, just fuck it, what are you doing, and basically tore the whole thing down, I'm sure. And the older me now, knowing like business, and just like we talked about, being through so much shit, preparing you for what your chapter is now and what you're dealing with.
You knew how to handle the whole situation.
What would make you happy? And so we came to an agreement financially on what his exit would look like. And I was obviously coach. I have some phenomenal mentors in my life. Like I've had people throughout my life play a role in my mentorship and be able to really impact how I move through life. Big shout out to my stepdad, Joe.
Shout out Joe.
Speaks 6 languages, originally from Spain. He's from Catalonia, but just an unbelievable guy, owns hotels, a guy that thinks in 4D chess, just really next level shit. And so he helped me move through a lot of these situations where it's like, okay, well, what does a buyout look like for this? And then if he's going to exit, how do you continue? And all these like business shit that we're not used to doing. This is where most people fail, bro, especially in the weed industry, because we're not used to doing real business. And it's like, well, what are we doing now? This is media. And so this thing that was your dream that I ended up falling in love with, podcasting and media, I got to now take the reins of and continue, which for me was a blessing, bro. I get to now interview only who I want to. And at the same time, I don't have to deal with any other people other than the people who work with me and for me. Oh, bro, game time.
You're the only boss now. Final boss. First smoke of the day.
And that was my stepdad also saying, are you done yet? You done with the partner thing? You done yet? How many times are you going to go through this?
Where it goes south.
Well, and just have somebody who can pull the rug from you. Because it's one thing to say, like, I'm going to build this and we're going to build this. But then to also say at any time, this marriage, this business marriage, this thing you built, that other person can decide to exit. Just like a marriage. You can say every night I cook dinner, we have a great sex life, all these things, right? And you're putting in 200%. If that person wants to leave, you have nothing that you can do. You are fucking done. And so it's the same in business. And so it's the same thinking, hey, when you get together with someone and you decide to create this business and you talk about what's the goal here? What would make you happy? Do you have to make $1 million a year, or can you make 100,000? Because there's a big difference. One's realistic. And like, how, if you do need to make $1 million, is that 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? When does that $1 million come? And I think having these tough conversations in business are literally the keystone to having longevity and success, is being like, hey bro, what's your goal? Is it 50,000 a month? Okay. And then how long are you willing to give before making 50,000 a month? Is it a year? Is it 2? Because I think most people start businesses and then don't think about working capital and go, oh, it's going to be 50,000 to start this business. And then as soon as you start it, you go, and 10,000 a month. And then you start to go,
50 went by quick.
And then 6 months in, though, you're willing to give up on your dream because you just didn't think, oh, dude, yeah, it also costs money to live. It also I have to break a salary. And you'll meet most entrepreneurs who go like, well, I just don't take a salary. It's like, well, then what you're able to do is you start to have to focus on other shit, and you can't focus on your dream.
Mm-hmm.
So now your dream gets put second, behind hustling, behind doing other shit, and you just start to realize, if this is going to take me 5 to 10 years, now it's going to take me 15 to 20, and I might even miss the opportunity. I might let somebody else in position 1 and beat me now. Like there's the ripple effect is there, and it's just
so basically like with Pac saw money coming in from other angles, and the podcast was on the back burner, even though that was his vision to begin with. And
he just didn't see a way of like, how are we going to make $1 million off of this? How is this going to be?
Because it was cannabis content.
Yeah,
that's what
and
he
like,
was thinking.
We can do all these badass videos, and then it gets age restricted and demonetized, and it gets 12,000 views. And he's like, if this was anything else, this thing would be at 250,000 views. And we see that when they don't get age restricted and when they don't get demonetized. You watch the video just go boom. And that's the ones we have that are at 700, 800,000 views.
They just go boom right off.
Oh, yeah, because they somehow leaked through or squeaked through the algorithm and didn't get age restricted, which is crazy to think that we're doing cannabis educational podcast and entertainment, and we still can't. It's like, nope, God forbid.
And it's not like you're teaching kids how to smoke on your thing. You're literally getting information from OGs in the game, from higher ups in the game. It's just like a talk show, literally. So yeah, the restrictions, the censorship, it's all crazy these days.
Bro, it's nuts. So don't pick weed.
So when you so you basically bought Pac out.
Yeah, we came to an agreement of what an
friendly?
exit would look like. And then at the time, I actually had another partner who we had brought in, just a minority partner, as like, he's going to help us take this thing to the next level. And he was with us for a year, and he did. He really helped. It's a shout out to my boy Rex, Power SI, Drip Hydro, on and on. But yeah, so here comes a great mentor. He says, well, if you're going to exit one partner, you should exit both. And there should be no reason, like both people should go ahead and be happy and move on with their lives. And you should be able to do the same. If this is your dream, do you really want this? And I'm like, I love it. I love interviewing people.
Yeah, you're killing it, bro.
So I love being able to sit down with people I wouldn't be able to sit. Like, how are me and OVO 40 going to sit down and have a 3-hour convo?
Or
bro?
Burner.
I mean, dude, if you look down the guest list of people we've interviewed, it's everything from scientists to rappers to hustlers to, people who have done 30, 40 years in jail, guys who were flying planes from South America. I mean, the top hash makers, the top growers, the top brands. I mean, Anwar Carrots, designers, Nikki Diamond's clothing, on and on, bro. And so, like,
crazy.
That's a dream. And so to give that up over financial, for me, though, financial's not number one in my life. At the top of, like, everyone has a list, right? Like a smokability list, a business list. It's not my number one. So it's also, in turn, I've never really had that much money because it's never been my number one. People whose number one it is will always have money, but will always drive their decision making.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off there that you have to decide, like, what's your number one, what's your number 2 and 3.
You gotta prioritize what's important to you.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on anybody because, like, why should my list be like yours or vice versa? Like, of course we're different, and of course, like, we grew up different, so your lists might be different than mine, and, like, maybe because your list is different than mine, we will work together great. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But at the same time, we might also get off the train at different times as well because your list is different than mine.
So are you and Pac still cool?
Yeah, we're still cool.
It wasn't a hostile buyout?
No, it was definitely a hostile ending, to be totally honest.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Our 15-year friendship in the end just kind of like we clacked heads at the end. And that was, to be totally honest with you, bro, that was Pac just being very unhappy.
Yeah.
And
projecting.
I've always been the same person, bro. And that's to a fault, meaning like, yeah, you might also be upset with me that I haven't grown in life, in 15 years, but I'm also have the same dreams and the same aspirations and the same goals I had 15 years ago. I know exactly what I want.
You're still chasing them.
It's never like if you ask me like, what do you want in life or what do you, some people can answer that. Some people can't. And I find that people with a lot of money and have had a lot of success sometimes have a harder time answering that question. And so I think we got to a point where he was really asking hard questions to himself about like, what does he want in life? Is it a family? What does he want in life for health? What does he want in life for business? And I'm asking myself the same questions. Mine have not changed. His had changed. And so, yeah, dude, if someone's that unhappy at the end, of course it's not going to, someone's unhappy.
And you're going to feel the energy on camera. Your fans are going to feel it. He's not going to put 110%
I'm sure people
it.
can go back and see the last like 5 episodes he's on and see that like he maybe draw some type of conclusion that he's not that stoked to be there. But either way, we moved past it. He reached out and like that ended the way it did, meaning like I was able to take my emotions out of it and be like, well, what do you want? Okay, well, you do want to move on. Okay, well, what does that look like? Okay, that looks like this. Okay, what does that really look like? You know?
No, I get it. I get it.
And then also saying like, okay, if I exit, does this thing continue? If you exit, does this thing continue? If you exit, does this thing continue? And everyone having the conclusion of like who actually wants to do this further and who can carry this torch.
You were the only one.
I want to, though. That's the number one, bro. It's like
you have a passion for it.
Just think about anything. It's like even with people quitting drugs, like if you don't want to do it, you're never going to do it. It doesn't matter how much money and time and process and how much opportunity. You're like, how could they fuck that up, dude? They had $1 million. You know, you look at Scott Storch, like how could you fuck that up? It's like, well, he didn't want to, bro. He didn't want to quit. So he's never going to quit until he wants to. So it's the same thing as that Pat God found a good time to exit. Great time for me to lean in and be able to build.
Best time for you, bro. You guys were, when he quit, everybody was like,
new cameras,
bro. Bro, everybody was like, what the fuck when he left? Just like, why?
And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just let people speculate and not say anything, and I think that'll help drive like, yo, what happened? Yo, and everyone just chattering to each other.
Is this the first time we're getting the truth about
it?
Yeah,
no, I've never.
No way. Yeah. Oh, exclusive.
Well,
Goodfellas Pod.
Now you gotta have Pac on and have his version of it, right? Because there's always multiple versions of the story. So like, I don't want to speak for him. I told.
Does he still come out here to LA?
Yeah. He was just out here like a couple weeks ago. I'm
gonna message him. I'm gonna hit him up. Yeah.
He
I wonder if he'll be down.
I think the first podcast he went on and he announced that he was no longer part of First Smoke was he went on Big Chief's podcast.
Okay.
And I only found out after they had told me like, hey, Pat came on and he talked about leaving, and I was like, oh shit, really?
Did you watch it?
No, I brought it up and like I watched part of it.
Was he saying anything bad in it?
No, bro. It was more just like he was being cagey.
Okay.
Like as far as like what exactly like he did, and so I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't really talk.
So in your view of it, he just lost the passion. He had other things going on, and it was too much for him. He wasn't happy, and he just wanted to go.
You have 24 hours, bro. You literally have 24 hours in the day, and however you utilize that 7 days a week is your life, the people around you. Sometimes too, like you're in a business where you're looking around, and maybe this is the case, maybe it's not. But he wasn't happy with the people he was surrounded by and what they were doing in life. And so I think that was part of it, that he's like, hey, man, I want to be, around these guys worth 100 M's plus, so we're living this other life.
He wanted to be like Dre Dog.
Exactly.
He specifically mentioned Dre Dog to me one time. That's why I said it. Shout out High Tolerance, shout out Kush Factory, shout out Dre Dog. But he actually mentioned Dre Dog one time because I remember I was hanging out with Cody and he was telling me, he's like, I got money. I'm making money. He's like, but Dre Dog, he's like, that's a different type of money. That guy does what he wants. And I remember when Cody said that.
Yeah. And so, obviously too, you get around me long enough and you realize like that doesn't drive me. Like that's only going to go so far in our journey. And that's a good thing. Like, like
it's not all about the money.
I don't think I've ever said something like that. Like what you just said, like it makes me laugh, but it's like, it just shows there's different types of people out there. And like my number one isn't that. So maybe I'll die without it. Right. But I also, that part doesn't haunt me at night either.
Okay. You don't lose sleep over it at all.
Oh no, dude. I also knowing like, this is just some entrepreneurial shit. I'm sure like it's a joke. Like you could have $47,000 in the morning and then you have zero at night. Then you have 55 in the morning and then
100%.
It's like that, and you start to trust the process and you start to trust a higher power, and you just start to say like, yo, I was meant to do this. This thing's supposed to be doing this, and so we'll have 150 grand one day, and then we have to do this, and we throw an event, and we do this, and just trust the process of the motion. And so
Cody, he just had other aspirations. It went that way. You took over the business, so
you got to have him on.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him on next. Yeah, I'm gonna. I didn't know he was still coming out to LA, so I'm gonna shoot him a DM or call his phone. I got his number, see what's good. But
because you'll be able to then decipher, and he'll be able to now, 6-8 months later, really be able to sit down and have a conversation with you about like, well, this is what I was going through at the time, or this is how I felt about it, or like this is why. But I just knew like this, bro, just like you, someone gave you a gift of like another passion, right? Isn't that amazing? Like you have these passions on your plate or these things you love, and then someone adds something to it, and you're like, dude, here's another cool thing that I absolutely love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, just like the podcast. Just like you said, the podcast.
Just like this. That's why you're doing episode 8 or 7 or
episode
6.
number 8, baby.
There we go.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My boy Lance, Blackleaf, first smoke of the day, signing out. Part 2 on the way.